Today we're going through some rather big teasers that are heading our way for anniversary month. And not just that, we're going through new monsters, basically everything. And prepare yourselves, guys, as this video is going to be jam-packed. So since September last year, we've had anniversary that has been going on, and we've seen every single island inside of the game get updated. However, there are 4 islands that have not been updated as of yet. And those are Seasonal Shanty, Tribal, Gold, and Composer. And each of these, it has a solid explanation why it's not been updated. Seasonal Shanty, we've got all of the seasonals, there's no reason to. Composer, it has its own app. Tribal, it has complicated mechanics. But when I'm looking at this list, there is one in particular that stands out to me to not have been updated. And in a year where every single island has been updated except this one, which definitely has a chance to, you look at it and you think, Gold Island. All of these old islands that we've seen get updated, Wobbling Island, Celestial Island, they've not been updated in years, and Gold Island is just like those. Even Sugarbush Island has had an updating anniversary year. I do not think they are going to be leaving out Gold Island. And each one, if we're going back to them, they've been updated at the best of times. The Rare Wobblins, they came along when Wobbling Island first released inside of that month. The Celestials, they came along when the first Celestial released. And therefore, when is the best time to update Gold Island inside of anniversary year? It is in anniversary month. So therefore now, it's just a question of who. Who is going to be coming to Gold Island? And when I put that question out there, I know what everyone is automatically going to be thinking. They're going to be thinking Jamboree. This is the one that everyone seems tormented by. They just want it to happen ever so badly. And I feel you guys, every single seasonal it's found a home, but the monster handlers, they are insistent that Jamboree, it's not going anywhere else, they say every single time. They have surprised us with Monculus, Ffidyll, going to these islands that we don't really expect them to go to, but Jamboree, if we're going back to it, this is solid confirmation right here, and I want to put this down today. Jamboree did not go to another island the second time that it came around. Every seasonal event, when it happened again, we saw them on the islands that they were going to go to, but Jamboree, it stayed there. If it was going to go to another island, it would have gone last year, as that was the second reappearance of Jamboree. And sure, this is anniversary year, and anything can happen, but I don't think Jamboree is a choice today. The seasonal era really has ended, guys. And I think that is a bit hard to understand for some, because we've loved all the seasonals, but it has ended. So we've got to move on now. Jamboree will still be getting some love this year, as if we go in that book of monsters, you can see that its candles are off it, and it's going to get candles as costumes inside of anniversary year. But Gold Island, there's something that we've not had in a while, and in order to deduct what this could be, I want to go to the monster handlers for a second here.
The last 2 epic Wubbox that were discovered to date, that is the last we've heard of epic Wubbox. It has been quiet for an awfully long time. I wonder if we'll ever find any more. Bah.
So the monster handlers here, the teasing, it has been a while since an epic Wubbox. We've not seen them for a very long time now, and they were talking about it, and this could be just in passing. But to me, I feel like this might be an indication here. Gold Island, like we've said, it's the only remaining one, and they've updated everyone, and therefore I do think Gold Island Epic Wubbox is going to come. It's the best thing that I think they could release inside of anniversary year for Gold Island, and it's the only Epic Wubbox that actually could come. I mean, if you look at every single island, we don't have a full set of epics that would allow for it to happen. So if it is going to be any Epic Wubbox, a new one coming, then it would have to be the Gold Island one. And Gold Island, when we talk about the Epic Wubbox behind it, the first question that really springs to people's minds is, how do you activate this thing? Because Gold Island, it doesn't have a market, and it has no way of really obtaining this monster, and therefore I think the answer is quite simple. You just go ahead and place any Epic Wubbox down on the island, and then it'd turn into the Gold Island variant. Problem solved, but the big ordeal here comes in where this would require all 30 natural epic monsters. Not just the 15, but 30. That is double the amount of a normal Epic Wubbox. So yes, I do think this is going to be amazing for the Epic Wubboxes. When we're talking about the design for this, it's obviously got to feature Gold Island ornaments. All the Epic Wubboxes suit all of the islands that we see them on. We've got to see the harp, I think. That would be really cool. Potentially tying into the sound there, maybe a bit too. That would be really cool to see. Jewels across it. And really what you want to see from this is that prestige. You want to get that prestigious vibe and that feeling of you have done it. Out of anything, that is the main thing that you want to conquer out of this Gold Island Epic Wubbox. It needs to feel grand. gold. And maybe even have a crown from that too. And definitely, if I was in charge of this thing, I would make it out of gold. Okay. This thing is going to be so hard to get. It is the penultimate epic Wubbox at the end of the day too, out of all of them so far. That is going to be the hardest one to get. So I think that would be an awesome way to go about it. Diamonds too, it's the most hardest to get currency inside of the game, and it really does suit Gold Island's atmosphere with the critter, for example, being made out of a substance that looks like it, and make it have a diamond orb. And for its dormant state too, as each one is different across all of the islands, I was thinking it could be either a throne or a crown, something really prestigious like that as well. Now the sounds too, it always has the same vocal sounds across all of the islands. So we're going to be getting that again, but it's obviously going to have a different instrumental sound like the sonar sounds on Water Island. So I'm thinking coin, metal forging sounds, basically just like I was predicting in my old video from like a year ago too. I really would like this to have 2 tracks at least. We have learned from Air Island Epic Wubbox that the community does not like it when an Epic Wubbox only has 1 track, so I feel like they've learned the lesson there, and it is going to have 2 tracks this guy. I never place it anywhere. I'm going to place it before Rare Wubbox plays at the end. And also in the ending, because it needs to play in the ending. That is the best bit in the song, I think we can all agree, so getting it there would be awesome. In terms of teasers, and what we do know, going out of the realm of theorizing a little bit there, but let's go into this wonderful Earth Island Colossal teaser that we got. So inside of this teaser, we not just got its sound, but we also got its waking up sound. So let's go and take a listen to that. So over there you heard the sound in full. I mean, we don't just have the mythical sound now, we also have this sound. We have sounds everywhere, basically. But I have deducted from this sound and placing it inside of the song the best place where this Colossal is gonna go. And that's actually when Talker sings I Am a Mountain. So let's go and take a listen to my edit while we're here too. So as you guys heard there, that is the perfect time for this sound to play based on that teaser. I couldn't help myself. I was telling myself it might be too much of a spoiler to put in, but I love the game too much, okay? I couldn't wait on this one. I couldn't wait for the mythical because I love it so much, but the Colossal, I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen now. But this one too, I think it's only gonna have 1 sound too. All of the other Colossals, they've had 1 sound, besides Planet Island, but that song's longer, and this one ain't that long, so I do think that's the only one we're gonna get, which we see teased there. And something that we have known is coming for a really long time, which I am so excited to talk about right now, is the new map menu. This thing, we have known about it for a year now, and I am so glad to finally be talking about it, knowing it's actually coming very soon now. The current map that we have in game, it's tedious. You can't go straight to the islands that you want to. It takes far too long to get to each island. It takes a solid 5 seconds to go fully around that carousel. So the main thing behind the map I do think that we're going to be getting is just being able to tap and go straight to the island that you want to go to. Just like the first map menu, to be honest. If we go back in time, there used to be a time where there used to be that few islands that they could just display them all on one screen and tap it straight away to go there. What a wonderful time that was. That was the best map menu we've ever had, and ironically, it was the first one. The first can always sometimes be the best. And I was originally thinking that they'd go back to this style and honestly just had a slider bar, because why not? It's a perfect design. I mean, the only reason that they changed it in the first place was because they ran out of space for islands, so they had a slider bar, right? But apparently not, because if we're going over to the monster handlers for a minute, we might have a hint towards what it's going to be like.
The monster world, the planet, has changed shape over the course of its history. That the Colossals formed it one way, but that the Cataclysm forever reshaped it. We'll have to figure that out later this year during anniversary year when our update to the map menu arrives.
So as you guys heard there, they are taking this map to the next level, it sounds like. We're going to be getting a map that allows us to see the monster world properly and the locations of each island. We've never actually got an overview itself of the monster world planet. And that to me is so phenomenally exciting. Not only did they discuss that as well inside of it, but they also discussed that we're going to see how it changed from the Dawn of Fire, which is something that we have definitely not seen at all. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that transition happened, and we might actually learn more about what the Cataclysm did from the Dawn of Fire that split all the islands apart from the continent, how that managed to affect the current day, because I'm sure it did drastically affect the planet, and the fact that we're going to see that could have potential really big lore revelations here, which I am obviously really excited about. we've had lots of theories as well behind the island's positions, and we're finally going to get a reveal towards where they are located on this map, which is very exciting. I think for me, though, the main thing that I'm finding really interesting behind this map menu is how the Mirror Islands are going to be represented. They're an alternate timeline full of history we don't know about. We know about the current Dawn of Fire and the Cataclysm, but this timeline with the Mirror Islands is completely different. And therefore, seeing this monster world for the Mirror Islands could actually reveal a lot of lore for those islands, especially if we see how that changed from the Dawn of Fire as well, because that time period was different to the time period we know of. So that could finally reveal a lot more about that, as I don't feel like we're going to really get that from anything else. And just seeing this mirror planet as well, how did the Ffidyll go about basically vandalizing all of these islands? How did it come about, and how did the continent look in this other timeline as well? That would be really cool to get to see that on the map. So basically, though, what this map needs right now is it needs speed, which is the main issue behind this map right now. It also needs to be expandable, because we've seen with this last map menu they did not last. And I think my main concern with this is if it gets too technical and art-sided, they might not be able to expand it, as obviously we have a lot of things to uncover on the monster world. Also, it's a very elaborate design that doesn't allow for that expansion. It could be rather complicated in the future to add on to. So basically, it needs to be easily clickable, expandable, and fast. Those are my main points there. And all of his island skins that we've been getting over the past year, it does beg a question towards Anniversary Month as well. And that question is, how are we going to be getting this Gold Island skin, and what is it going to do, basically? That's the main question, because every single island skin that we've seen so far, they've all had boosts associated with them. And obviously, we are going to be able to, inside of this event, purchase that Gold Island skin. But the question here is this going to provide boosts? I think this is unlikely, because what can you do? There's no wishing torches, there's no bakeries, you can't really boost anything on Gold Island, and therefore I think this is going to come down to the design. Right now, it's just confetti and balloons, and that's basically it. So I do think on Gold Island, we're going to see a renovation of this island skin massively improved for Anniversary Month. And how do you go about this? Well, it would be actually really cool to go back to the origins behind Anniversary Month. I was thinking, obviously, it's a celebration of the game in general, and therefore referencing towards the game's history and all of the updates and classes and monsters that we've got, I think would be an awesome idea for this Gold Island skin. Because honestly, the skin definitely captures the anniversary celebration element, but capturing that game's history as well, I think is really important with this event as well. And speaking of this Gold Island skin, I've got up on screen right now Ral's design for it. They put this prediction up just as I was editing this, and I had to include it in the video. Okay, so I went back and I put this thing in because it is good as always, Ral. So here on this design, we've got some awesome reference towards Jamboree up at the top. Jamboree appreciation, just like we all need. We've got gift boxes and huge confetti balloons. This thing has took the celebration to the next level, guys. We've got sparklers on here, resembling fireworks, and this is a celebration to be had, guys. Truly getting in the spirit of Anniversary Month. We've even got cupcakes at the bottom. Jamboree is proud now. Even its egg has made an appearance here for looking at what its egg looks like, guys. Now, we've been over how Jamboree, it's not going to be coming to Gold Island, but we cannot forget this poor soul. We've got to include them at some bit, and therefore, I do want to bring up the wonderful thing that is going to be coming for Jamboree, and that is Epic Jamboree. Last year, we saw Rare Jamboree come along inside of Anniversary Month before all of the Rare Ox seasonals came along, and Epic Jamboree, I don't think it's going to be any different. We're going to be seeing Epic Jamboree come along for the Epic Ox seasonals come along as well. And for this, I want to see another type of cake, and I don't actually know what this cake could be. So definitely make sure to leave your comments down below, and we're going to see the form of numbers and what kind of way it's written in change again. We've had normal letters, we've had Roman numerals with Rare Jamboree, and this time for Epic Jamboree, we've seen all of the most popular ways now for these letters being written out. So I think it would actually be really cool, seeing as though it's supposed to be a celebration of the game's history, Anniversary Month, actually going back to the game's language itself, monstrous, and tying into that would be so cool. If we look at everything inside of the game, monstrous for numbers, you never see the numbers written anywhere, and the only place we've really seen it is actually on that anniversary map. So going back to that, as that is literally the only place we've seen it. So tying back to that and finally seeing a place where these symbols can be used would be really cool. We all know, though, the main thing that we want from the Epic Seasonals, and the main thing we get excited about, though, and that has to be the custom animations, because those, they are so hype. Okay. But Jamboree, if we're looking at this monster and it getting custom animations, animations is very snug. It feels a bit static and stuck in one place. So to help it feel a little less static, I was thinking, seeing as though the candles, those are what make it sounds, it would be so cool to make those feel more alive. Candles that can be taken in any form, there can be letters, there can be numbers, there can be pictures, you can melt them into absolutely anything, and that is the wonderful, glorious thing about Jamboree, because it's made out of wax, it's candles. So we could even have candles with limbs, get really expressive, allow movement, and let this Jamboree feel more alive, just like all of the rest of the epic seasonals. It's honestly just getting even more movement itself from Jamboree, I feel like would be really cool, but taking that to the next level with the candles would be awesome. Just like Epic Gobblygod's backpack is almost alive, let's do that to the candles, with maybe different faces for them as well, as even though they're really expressive, they're all the same. So let's change them up, let's have more different faces for them. One grumpy, sad, and just each one befitting each different design that we might get from them. And speaking of seasonals, Epic Jamboree is not the only seasonal that we've got to talk about that's going to be new today, because we have Rare Ffidyll popping along as well. 6 months after each new seasonal event debuts, we've seen these new rare seasonals come along, and Rare Ffidyll is going to be coming along then. As in anniversary, it'll have been 6 months since Clover Spell, so Rare Ffidyll, it's on its way, and Ffidyll, it is a St. Patrick's Day monster down to the T. However, when I look at Ffidyll, there's something that I sense it lacks, and that would actually be more leprechaun attributes. You can see this hair on top of its head, and I just think beard, leprechaun beard. Every time I look at that little hair tuft, that's all I can think about. That snout is honestly so perfect for a beard, and we obviously will be looking at a leprechaun hat, as you can't do without that. And besides green, there's also white clovers that exist, so maybe tying into a white clover design would be really cool for this Rare Ffidyll variant. And obviously we got to get a newly styled Ffidyll, of course, because it's in the name, it's Ffidyll. We got to have a different one. I was thinking too, maybe this one could be made of gold. Lots of things made of gold here, but it does go back to the coins and the sense of look from Clover Spell. I think that would communicate quite well. And for Rare Ffidyll, I want to pull up Lyco's design up here. And honestly, this design really does capture the kind of ideas that I do have, minus the beard. So they've done almost a series of opposites here. So we've got tusks on them, almost like Tusky. We've got, rather than the clovers being at the top of the design, we've got them being at the bottom, and those replacing the leaves instead of being on top of them. We've got more of a St. Patrick's looking hairstyle rather than the hair tufts going upwards. And we also have a leprechaun hat on top of them, also potentially representing the huge clover that we see in the middle of Fairy Island, which is really nice. And also, while we're here, I want to pull up Ral's Gold Island Epic Wubbox design before we get into some teasers that are going to be ending our way really soon for anniversary month. So up here we've got a diamond core, which we've just brought up as well. Ral's, I don't know if you're calling my ideas out here, but we've also got the harp on this design, and we've got Gold Island ornaments, all of the different branches almost that you find around Gold Island resembled inside of the core, and a huge golden plated design. Definitely reeking of that You've Done It atmosphere, this one, especially those huge golden horns. We're loving those horns. And going back to them teasers we were on about earlier, teasers for new monsters, big additions, more surprises, and the anniversary update. Everything basically to do with My Singing Monsters future is getting teased early before anywhere at PAX West. Therefore, there is no chance that I could miss this, and I'm actually going. I am so excited about this. I found out that all of these updates were coming, and my brain was like, there is no way I am missing this. So if you do come and see me, make sure to come and say hi, guys. I love every single one of you, and I'd absolutely adore to meet you. Anyone not going to, do not worry, as I'm also going to be taking you guys along with me, and I'm going to be recording what is going on, and you guys, you'll be a part of the experience still, because you're a part of the MPG squad. Now, huge thanks though to Jen, who confirmed to me that these teasers, they're exclusive to PAX, and the only people at PAX are going to see them, and then they'll be revealed later, because once I saw this thing from Jen, I was like, there is no stopping me now. I was like, get that booked immediately. For real, I love My Singing Monsters to bits, and knowing that there's going to be an event similar to when Dawn of Fire was first revealed. When I was a kid, I was looking at all the images of this huge event where Dawn of Fire was unveiled, and I was like, I want to be there, man, and I'm actually going to get to be there this time, which is really exciting. This is truly a time where every single update for the game has stopped. Amber Island is stopped, and Mythical Island is going to have stopped. This is the time anniversary where we are going to be seeing what's next, and these teasers are going to be a huge indication towards that, as it literally references towards as well on the website itself. So they clearly know what they're getting into, and as well on the website it mentions that a brand new My Singing Monsters gaming experience will be playing there. So this could be one of two things I do think we can nail it down to. It'll either be the update itself being playable, as we do know they're going to be teasing the update there, or alternatively it could be just a new game. I don't think the update itself is going to be playable there, as that's way too much spoilers for anyone, right? But if it is, I'm not complaining. But it could honestly be anything. If I do have to guess, I'd probably say a game, because like I say, the spoilers, it's too much at once, and we also do have an indication that those things that we mentioned earlier, they're just getting teased. So it would make the most sense for this to be something different and new, but if it is in the original My Singing Monsters game style with the breeding and similar kind of mechanics, then I am all on board, and sign me up today. But now though, let's go back to a schedule. We've got to update this thing based on everything we've talked about now and update it from last time. First of all then, on the 1st, we're going to be getting exclusive updates, teasers from PAX for the people who are going. So everything related to Anniversary Month. Then on the 2nd, we're going to be getting us Earth Island Colossal, finally awakening, concluding the natural Colossal saga. Then on the 6th, we're also going to be getting the Anniversary Gold Island skin, that new design that's going to likely be popping along with its new anniversary decoration, and Jamboree finally getting costumes for all of its different years that it's going to be celebrating its candles on top of its head, along with Rare Jamboree. Then also on the 6th, I'm predicting that the teasers that we see at PAX will go public. I don't think they're going to keep them away from too long. Everyone's going to be recording everything there. It's a very public thing. It is going to come from them sooner rather than later, I do think. So therefore, I do think it's going to be on the 6th, along with everything else. It's probably going to be tied together inside of that update trailer that we see that day. They'll probably put the teasers out along with that. Then on the 13th, I'm predicting Rare Ffidyll will pop on along. If we look at Rare Claw Vivera, that released 6 months and 1 week after their event, and therefore going by that, I think that's a really nice time for Rare Ffidyll as well. They need to spread this content out, and just based on them needing to spread this content out as well, I'm gonna guess that on the 20th, we could get a Gold Island update themed day, where we just see everything related to Gold Island getting updated, besides what we've got at the start. So we could get Epic Jamboree that day, and also the Gold Island Epic Wubbox. Then on the 27th, I'm gonna guess that that new map is gonna arrive. The biggest update, to which, if there is no update at the end, it would honestly not surprise me, as we've got so much here already, but usually the biggest update is saved till the end. So bearing in mind what this could be, as I do think we might have a new island in our midst, guys, I do think that the new map will be saved for them, because you're not going to add it before the new island. Looking at this now too, I do think that the Rare Candelabra is probably his least likely thing on here, and the fact that I think Gold Island Epic Wubbox has more of a chance than Rare Candelabra, I do not know what the world is coming to right now. But as I've said before, it's time for a new island, guys. I do absolutely think we're going to get one inside of Anniversary. So now the question is, what do I think the new island is going to be? In terms of that, I do think I have a good incline towards what it could be. So stay tuned for my predictions. I have a lot of predictions for Anniversary, okay? I had to split it up. It had to be 3 videos. I could not help myself, okay? But for now, make sure to let me know what you think it's going to be in the comments. But also make sure to type down below if you're going to PAX, as I'd love to hear how many of you guys might be going. Woo, it's a party in here. Stuff Gold Island, we're having the best party in here right now. Going to PAX. Whoop.